Hi guys, Ian living in the Philippines. So you've probably seen the thumbnail. We'll be talking today about something that's been going on between China and the Philippines. I think a lot of you might not even know because you only see this in the Philippine news. There's been a big dispute over the sea. So the Filipinos call it the West Philippine Sea, and the Chinese call it the South or the Chinese South Sea or the South China Sea. And there's been boats being rammed from the Chinese side. Their Coast Guard's been ramming Philippine boats and also been not attacking them, but with the water, what do you call them? Spraying water at them. A few people have been injured. There's been no deaths up to now, but the Filipino ships have been damaged and a few injured apparently. So what I'll do is I'll put this up on the screen for you now to read, so you actually know what it's all about. And then after we've read that, I'll show you also the map, so you'll get also a better understanding of what is going on. So, and then after all this, I'll show you then a report from Facebook and the local paper, and then I'll show you a 4-minute video from a Philippine senator, Erwin Tuflo, who is the brother of Rafi, who's also, he went a little bit mad to join the Congress meeting about what the Chinese have said. So that's what we're going to talk about. So first of all, the Philippine Sea, or the dispute over the seas. So I'll put this up on the screen for you also so you can read it along with me. So here we go. So the West Philippine Sea dispute involves overlapping sovereignty claims over parts of the South China Sea, primarily between the Philippines and China. China claims nearly the entire area based on its 9-dash line. So they have their own thing. And that's what they're going at. They don't care about what is being discussed or done with other countries. They have got their 9-dash line, which we'll see in a minute, which was invalidated by a 2016 International Tribunal ruling that favoured the Philippines. Aha! See? China don't like this. The Philippines, supported by 73% of its citizens as of June 2024, asserts its rights within its 200 nautical mile exclusion economic zone, so EEZ for specifically around the Spratly Islands and the Scarborough Shore. So forget 2024. So the Philippines, they have a 200 nautical mile border around this country, and that runs through the Chinese, what they call it, 9-dash. So shall we take a look at the map, and I'll show you. So this is what the dispute is about, and so this is the map. You can see there the red dotted line. That's China's 9-dash line claim. So you see that goes all the way down, all the way past the Philippines, all the way down to Brunei, up again around Vietnam, and back to China again. So they claim all of that area. Well, you can see then is that brown? The Philippines claim it goes into that into the China's, and this is what it's all about. So China don't recognize what's been given to the Philippines. No, this is ours, and the Philippines not getting it. Whereas the Philippines goes, well, it's all been legally done, and yeah, we have this 200 nautical mile line from our shore, and that's our Philippine rights. So you have also, you see the Vietnam, they have also their own. And yeah, China, they also don't recognize that. So this is what it's all about. So what did China, the China embassy say? So I'll put this up on the board for you also. So there's some names in here that I can't even properly pronounce. So you'll have to bear with. You can read along with me. So why has this happened that Evan Tuflo has gone a bit mad? Right. The Chinese embassy has used scathing words to attack two senators. So this is the China embassy in Manila. So one senator is Riza Hontiveros, I don't know if that's right, Hontiveros, and Kiko Pangilinan, and two members of the House of Representatives, Chel Diokno and Laila de Lima, practically telling them that they are purveyors of fake news when it comes to the West Philippine Sea. So the Chinese embassy and some ambassadors in there are saying that the Filipinos they're lying and spreading fake news. That's the Chinese here. You can do that when you're sitting in China, but not here. So they also did the same to Coast Guard spokesman J. Tariella and the NGO at IMOA, Institute of Maritime Ocean Affairs, that responded point by point to the Chinese embassy's false claims using the 2016 arbitral award as basis. Also, the think tank Strat-based institute. I don't know what it's all about. What makes the Chinese officials think that they will give the hearts and minds gain the hearts and minds of Filipinos by spreading lies about our hard-fought historic legal victory? This was deliberated for 3 years. The 500-page unanimous decision is anchored in international law. So, yeah, it was. So this area that I showed you did belong to China, and apparently then the Filipinos got it back. What they say is rightfully theirs in the beginning. Right. We'll go. So that was from Facebook. Now we go to the newspaper. So there we go. The Chinese embassy in Manila has spent the opening weeks of 2026 lashing out at Philippine officials on social media, issuing a stream of unusual, blunt statements that accuse them of lying, misunderstanding international law, or deliberately misleading the public about Beijing's actions in the West Philippine Sea. So, for example, the ramming. It's all there. We've seen it all on the news and in the papers. Ramming, and then with the water. So the Chinese embassy, in the last, in at least 15 Facebook posts over the 3 weeks, the Chinese embassy in Manila has repeatedly singled out Philippine Coast Guard spokesman J. Tariella. They questioned senior Kiko Panglan's understanding of international law and accused Republic Laila de Lima of spreading falsities. told Republic, Chel Diokno, his logical was fundamentally erroneous, erroneous, what's that mean? And criticised the National Maritime Council for calling out its posts, among others. Yeah, so what that means is just the Chinese have been having a go at all the representatives here in the Philippines. You don't do that. And then you'll see in the video soon what Erwin Tufflo has to say about all of this. So do we have another one? Yes, we have another one. So the most pointed remarks have been aimed at Tariela. In one post this week, Embassy Deputy Spokesperson Guo Wei, that's the Chinese, asked Tariela, how many times have you actually lied? And demanded that the Philippine government explain why he had not been held accountable for his remarks. The embassy accused Tariela of spreading false narratives about China's actions at sea, a charge it repeated across several posts that aimed to debunk the Philippine side's characterization of Chinese vessels' hostile actions at sea. Yeah, well, God, we've seen so many videos. You go on YouTube and you get, I'm being, but the sun then. I've come out here because I had problems with the sun inside. Right. So that was the explanation there. So you get, you know now what the Chinese have been saying that's upset now the Filipinos, especially when they're from here. And also coming from the China embassy in Manila, where you'll see Erwin Tulfo, it's got nothing to do with them. That is not the reason for them being here. So what I'll do now, I'll play you the video from Erwin Tulfo, where he tells unpolitely the Chinese to go home. So sit tight and we'll listen to this. Or not.
Person of the Chinese embassy recently lectured Filipinos and worse, Philippine officials on the limits of freedom of speech. We are told that criticizing a foreign head of state is completely unacceptable. Well, let me say this then, Mr. President. If you do not like how democracy works in this country, then you are free to leave the Philippines. Get the out. Mr. President, kung hindi nila gusto kung paano gumagana ang demokrasya sa ating bansa, malinaw po ang sagot. Layas. This is our house. Hindi sila ang boss natin at tayo ay mga tau-tauhan lang nila. To the Chinese embassy officials, you do not have the moral authority to lecture Filipinos about freedom of speech. Because freedom of speech does not exist in your country. It is not practiced, it is not protected, it is punished. So do not export censorship to a nation that fought, bled, and died to be free. And another recent statement coming from the Chinese government threatening our officials of, quote, paying the price for making provocations and confusing right from wrong, unquote, pertaining to our claims at the West Philippine Sea. What is truly unacceptable is a foreign government acting as if it can police Filipino speech, intimidate Filipino officials, or shame Filipino into silence. Mr. President, our government officials spoke only the truth. They defended our sovereignty. They spoke as public servants of a democratic republic. They are correct, and the Chinese government is wrong. Wala silang karapatan na punahin ang malayang pagpapahayag sa ating bansa. Dahil sa kanilang bansa, walang tunay na freedom of speech. mga kritiko ikinukulong at misteryosong namamatay pa. Ang mga mamahayag, pinapatahimik, opinyon, kinokontrol, tulad po nangyayari doon sa Hong Kong, kung ilang kritiko nila ay kinulong na. Let us be very clear, Mr. President. The West Philippine Sea is ours. Our officials have the right and the duty to speak about aggression against our nation. And Filipinos, Mr. President, will not whisper in their own house just to avoid offending a foreign power, particularly China. No, 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 Mr. President. We do not take lessons on democracy from a government that jails critics. We do not take lectures on free speech from a system that suppresses it. Our house, our terms, Mr. President. Respect is not demanded, it is earned, and it is mutual. If you want respect from Filipinos, then respect our Constitution. Respect our officials, respect our freedom of speech, and respect the simple truth that this is not your country. Mr. President, the Filipino people are not afraid. We are not silent, and we will not be bullied, politely or otherwise. Thank you, Mr. President. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat at magandang hapon sa ating lahat.
Wow. Ho, ho, ho. So, guys, I must, another bit, as a foreigner in the country, we're not allowed to get involved in political issues such as this. I'm just doing this to let you guys know what is happening in case you didn't know about it, or if you did know about it but did not understand what's happening. So that's all I'm doing. I'm showing. So, but saying that, I can understand what he said in the video, and we all know like what the Chinese are like. They like to be a bit bossy. So look, you let me know in the comments what you think about all this. Personally, I don't think much will happen because this has been going back and forth. Apparently now also in China, the ambassador for the Philippines has been called to report to Beijing. I think he's going to get his wrist slapped because it will just keep on going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Unless, and there's been rumours that the Americans will get involved. Apparently there's some ships down this way. What the Chinese are also doing, they're building fake islands near or in the Philippine zone, and they're calling them then their islands, Chinese islands. So they've been there with big ships of sand. I don't know how you do those islands, but they're making their own big islands in the Philippine zone, which is also making it the situation not easier. So guys, just a little bit of information for you. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. Do China, are they right to defend what they had before? I mean, you looked at the big zone, right? They want all of that sea, all from Philippines, Vietnam, who's down there, Brunei. Are the Filipinos right? Is it going to get worse or will it get better? Let me know. So guys, I'll leave it at that. And I'll see you on my next one. So, goodbye. See you guys. Oh dear. Get them out.